Hey, what is up guys? DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we are taking on double S difficulty of the All-for-One Climax Battle. We are going to be doing this without any fantasy characters on the team, and now the title did say without barriers. Well, technically we're still using one barrier character. We're using Kirishima, so I might have lied a little bit, but we are not using Fantasy Todoroki. We are not using Sheer, Ochako, or Araka, so we are not using any team barrier characters. Kirishima is literally the only character on the team with barriers, and most of our characters are going to actually be general pool units. So I know a lot of people have been asking, well, how can we clear double S difficulty with general pool units? Here is the team I'm using. Now, I am using one limited character, and I am using that Deku because he has a last stand, and his last stand is kind of insane, and he also builds up defense over time. The more crits he does, he has enough time to do crits in a climax battle to build up his defense quite a bit because Kirishima draws aggro. And so basically the idea is to let Deku and Kirishima last stand All for One's attack in the final phase and then kill All for One, and hopefully that will end up working out for us. We'll see. We do only have a BP of 389,000, so even though they're all level 110, level 130, 120, it's really not that high of a battle power team. And this is probably achievable for most people who have been playing the game for a while. If you are new to the game, it is Climax Battle, it is end game content, so you might struggle a little bit with using this particular team to get it done, but maybe it'll give you a starting place for building your team. Now, this is not the first time I have done a Climax Battle video for All for One. I have done a couple of them in the past because this Climax Battle has obviously been around for a while. So if you don't find a team in this video that you think you can use, go back and check out those previous videos. They might be helpful to you, and I will put one as a card at the end of the video to take you to the next video that will probably be another All for One Climax Battle video. Alright, so as we get into this, you can see this is going to be a team that actually takes quite a while to get going. So our goal really here is to get rid of all the Nomus. There is a finite amount of Nomus, okay? And so if we can last long enough, kill all the Nomus, and make it to the last phase without anybody dying, then we win. Okay, so this is kind of my, what I would call, staying alive team. The song that goes through my head when I'm using this team is literally staying alive. Because Kirishima has the last stand, Mirko has the last stand, Deku has the last stand, Kirishima obviously has his barriers. Mirko gets more damage herself, like she gets more skill impact to hurt the enemies as she takes damage, and Deku kind of the similar thing, but the more crits he lands, the more defense he gets as well. So Deku is really going to be our main damage. He's starting to scale already. You can see he has 76,000 damage, and he gets last stands whenever he does this right here, and increases his critical hit rate and critical skill impact. And so we're going to be doing a lot of damage with Deku. That's why I'm using Deku on this team, because New Year's Deku is actually ridiculous. Even at level 100, if you happen to pull one copy of him, he could be very, very good for this Climax Battle for you, as you see right there. Another really big thing about Deku that is kind of insane is if he does land his stun, let's say we're going through a phase shift like you just saw right there, if you land the stun the turn before the phase shift, he will stay stunned and not actually do whatever his effect is for the next phase shift until he becomes unstunned. So let's say we stun him at the very last phase right before we go into the last phase, and you know how he does his plus ultra to wipe everybody? You can actually stun All for One right before you go into that last phase, and then he won't wipe everybody the first turn. It'll take him an extra turn to actually do his wipe. So keep that in mind. It's actually kind of nuts what Deku can do with his stun. And then as you can see, Mirko is really low on health, but it doesn't matter because we keep drawing aggro off her with Kirishima. And she does have her last stands, of course, so she's just going to keep doing a bunch of damage as she goes right here. And so we're still, like, look at how long we've been going here. I was not kidding when I say this team does take a while. All for One still has 779,000 health, right? But we are killing all the Nomus. Once again, goal, get rid of all the Nomus. Then after all the Nomus are gone, then we can start focusing on killing All for One. Deku should do 99,000 damage right here on All for One. And we also landed the stun. The stun is very nice because it lasts for the duration of this turn and the next turn, and it's really, really good. You can see Deku hitting for like 15,000 with a normal attack, which is kind of insane. Like, I'm telling you guys, he is the MVP. This is kind of like his showcase. Like, I obviously did a showcase for him for PvP, but I feel like he is really shining in this Climax Battle. He's really nuts in my opinion. 18,000 with a normal attack. He just has so much time to build up his crit and his defense. Like, it's actually insane. And you'll see that by the time he eventually does get attacked, he really doesn't take a whole lot of damage. And the barriers on Kirishima obviously are very good. I actually only have my Kirishima, I think, like board 10 or 11, so he doesn't have his second action skill DX. So if you do DX his action skills, you get an extra third barrier. My Kirishima on one of his action skills still only gets 2 barriers, so you don't have to have him full board 13 to be able to do well, as you see right here. Mirko still just staying alive. All of them got blown out. Does not matter. That's actually what you want to happen right here, because now most of the Nomus are dead. I think maybe 1 or 2 might spawn, but I think we've killed all of them. And so what we're going to do now is do our action skills, get all of our plus ultras going. Try to get through this phase as quickly as possible. So for this phase right here, you want to land, I believe it's been a while since I've done this. I think it's 6 critical hits. If you land 6 critical hits, that little yellow glowing ring right there will go away, and he won't do his action skill that like wipes your whole team. So you need to land as many crits as possible. So keep that in mind as you're going through this. And I believe you have 2 turns to do that. As you can see, the yellow ring went away. And now we don't have to worry about him wiping our team with an action skill, and we can use our plus ultra skills. And so right here we get the phase shift. He's going to blow our characters out of the screen again. Or not blow our characters out of the screen, I'm sorry. He is going to plus ultra our characters and kill them, because obviously we don't have any barriers or last stands. And so we're going to go ahead and use these action skills right here. Lower defense with Bakugo before Bakugo dies. I think that'll help when Kirishima and Deku come back out. And so yes, it is pretty much impossible to beat this without characters dying with this team, but that is fine because there is no 3-star for this. Your goal is just to clear it, right? So we're going to use our plus ultra right here. I think we'll be okay to use it, and then we can use both our action skills next turn. Maybe we'll stun if we're lucky. No, we did not get the stun. The stun would just be like, look how much defense he has. He actually took that with defense and didn't need the last stand, which is nice. And so if we're looking right here, his last stands, he has 3 last stands. Okay, we should actually be able to kill him right here. So there's 1. He's stunned. That's what I'm talking about. There we go, and he's dead. Oh man, I got a little nervous that we weren't going to do it right there, but we did it. We beat All For One with pretty much a general pool team. Okay, give me a little bit of exception on the New Year's Deku, because like obviously he was really good and helped us a lot, but most of those were general pool units, and there's not a ton of, you know, general pool blue units who are decent for this in the game to choose from. So hopefully that helps you guys out, gives you a foundation for getting through this double S difficulty of Climax Battle. And I am also going to be showing you guys, in addition to this, the new fantasy characters. This won't really be their showcase, but it'll be kind of a showcase for how well they do in this Climax Battle. So we'll hop into that run real quick, and then we'll call it good for the video. Here is my fantasy team with the new fantasy characters. We have the new fantasy Kirishima, the fantasy Todoroki, and the fantasy Ochako or Araka. Somebody asked me, how good are these characters in the new Climax Battle? Well, even though they don't have type advantage, even though they don't have type advantage, they are still ridiculously good. The fantasy team is just so good, type advantage doesn't even matter. Type doesn't matter at all. And I'm going to show you guys how good the fantasy characters are in this. There's not a whole lot of thought that went into building this team. I didn't really have to think much with the memories. The only thing I would recommend is on Kirishima, put that 1 memory on him. All right, so as we get into this team is going to go a little bit faster than the last team I showed you. Obviously, because they are fantasy characters, we have fantasy Todoroki, who has his attack all and does an insane amount of damage. And they are all level 100, but I will say I don't technically have the peace route for Kirishima or Araka done yet. I did a little bit of their DX route to get them to level 100 so they could actually be much stronger. And at the point of recording this video, I only have them board 9. So just keep that in mind when you're seeing this. Like Kirishima and Uraraka can actually be so much better than they are right here in this video. But regardless of where they are on their ability boards, regardless of where they are on their level, they are still ridiculously good for this Climax Battle. Like this is like entry level player like level right here. This is what an entry level player would have for their Kirishima and their Uraraka right now if they saved up a little bit of stamina. And so this is a good, to give you guys a good idea of what your characters would be looking like in Climax Battle if you haven't tried them out yet or you're nervous to try them out. Kirishima is literally such a beast. And then of course Uraraka is keeping up in damage. So The idea here, Kirishima doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but he tanks like a beast. Uraraka heals him, of course, and then Todoroki does the damage. That's the whole idea behind this team right here. And we're already through the first phase, so a lot quicker than the last team. And what I am nervous about is when we get to the middle phase, where the little yellow arrow is up top on the bar. I am worried that he's going to blow all of these characters out and where we're going to go from there, but we'll see when we get there. If I do have barrier on all the characters from Todoroki, obviously we stop our characters from getting blown out. If you did not know that, now you know. But we'll see where we're at on our action skills when we get there, and if I'm not dumb and I don't mess it up. Alright, so we're going to use these 2+ ultras. I think we'll save Uraraka's action skill so we can use it in a chain because we want to get that heal effect, right? So try to use Uraraka's action skill in a second or later skill chain so you get the heal. Otherwise, you're not going to get the heal. And you want to keep healing Kirishima basically to keep your team alive as much as possible. And the really cool thing about using this team right here is that with the Kirishima, obviously he reduces damage, but you're getting the additional barrier of Todoroki whenever Todoroki gives the barriers out. So it's kind of cool using this Kirishima because you're getting like both the red and the blue Kirishima effect combined, which is really, really interesting. And then 46,000 damage, which is nice. And then 62,000 from Uraraka. So Uraraka obviously putting up big numbers. I do think damage-wise, Uraraka probably has a little more potential. Obviously defense-wise, Kirishima is going to outshine everybody in the whole game because he's ridiculous. And then having the Todoroki on the team is nice because he does reduce defense with his plus ultra. So when those other two go after him, obviously they're going to do more damage. We are now at the middle phase. I had to use my attack all there. So unfortunately Kirishima got blown out. We did have barriers on the other two. It should be fine because now we'll go ahead and we'll do our barrier with Todoroki and we'll do our attack all. So we need to hit so many crits on All for One once again to not get blasted by his action skill. So we've landed, what is that, 4 now? We need 6, I believe. So 5 and then 6. And now the glowing yellow ring should be gone at the end of this turn, which it is. And his defense is down, and of course the Bakugo is still ridiculous, but okay, so you can see the disadvantages to a faster clear, obviously. Here's the disadvantage: no moves keep spawning, they draw your aggro, makes it harder to kill All for One. So just keep that in mind with a faster clear. The good thing about this team is obviously the attack walls between Bakugo and Todoroki kind of compensate for the fact that we can't target who we want to target. Now we are in the final phase. He does reset all your action skills. We can use our barrier with Todoroki. And we can use our attack all with Bakugo. We want to use that last because of the friendly reinforcements we have on him. And we should be able to kill the Nomu right here, hopefully. Okay, nope, we didn't hit the crit on Nomu. If we had hit the crit on Nomu, we could have. So we're fine right there, though, because we did have the barrier. No damage from the plus ultra. That's fine. And once again, just to reiterate, disadvantage of a faster clear, you still have the Nomus around, which kind of make it harder to kill All for One. And All for One is pretty close to death this turn. Hopefully we'll be able to kill him unless he does this. Okay, actually, I'm surprised he didn't kill the other two, so we're good. So I kind of messed up right there a little bit with how fast I did it, right? The Nomu stopped me from killing him before he killed one of my characters, but we definitely could have done it if we had just slowed down a little bit, maybe taken a few turns where we didn't use all our action skills. So once again, just really keep that in mind as you're going through this climax battle. Once again, doesn't matter if you lose characters though, because there is no penalty for losing characters. Those are the new fantasy characters. Let me know how you thought they performed down in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the first team I showed you down in the comments. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Please help me out, guys. And if you want to see more Climax Battle videos, click the card here at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Peace.